In the quiet of the mind, there exists a subtle rhythm to life, a pattern woven into the very fabric of our existence. Among these patterns there lies a wisdom long preserved by those who sought harmony with the universe. This wisdom is not found in grand monuments or loud proclamations, but in the gentle alignment of energy, in the delicate balance of intention and action. It is in this hidden rhythm that the secret of abundance whispers a code, a simple sequence of 3 numbers, which for centuries has guided the flow of prosperity toward those who understand its meaning. These numbers are not magic in the conventional sense. They are symbols, reflections of the forces that shape our material and spiritual world. Just as the river carves its path through the landscape with patience and persistence, so too do these numbers guide the currents of wealth. They remind us that abundance is not merely a matter of accumulation, but of alignment. When the mind, heart, and action are in harmony, the universe responds. The code becomes a mirror, reflecting the balance within and creating resonance with opportunity outside. Masters of old, who walked silently through monasteries and forests, understood the subtle influence of these sequences. They observed the cycles of nature, the rise and fall of fortunes, and the interconnectedness of all beings. In their meticulous attention to signs and rhythms, they discovered that certain combinations harmonized with the flow of life, opening doors to unseen possibilities. By noting these sequences, they cultivated a state of readiness, a receptivity to abundance without desire or attachment. Yet the true power of this 3-digit code lies not in numbers themselves, but in the consciousness it cultivates. When one approaches wealth with mindfulness, gratitude, and clarity, even the smallest effort is magnified. The code serves as a gentle reminder to honor intention over impulse, wisdom over recklessness. Each digit is a step toward awareness, each combination a reflection of the inner order that governs the outer world. As we hold this knowledge, we are called not to obsession but to understanding. We are invited to observe our own habits, to align our decisions with principles that endure, and to recognize that true abundance begins within. The 3-digit sequence is a key, yes, but it unlocks not only material opportunity, it awakens discernment, patience, and the serenity that allows wealth to flow naturally without struggle or conflict. May this understanding guide your journey. May you carry the code not merely in your wallet but in your consciousness, letting it shape not only what you acquire but the way you move through the world. In doing so, the rhythm of prosperity becomes part of your daily life. Quiet yet profound, subtle yet transformative, echoing the timeless harmony that masters have known for centuries. Abundance aligns with inner harmony. True wealth flows when the mind, heart, and actions are in balance, not through mere desire or accumulation. Abundance in its truest sense is not something to be chased or grasped with urgency. It is a subtle flow, a gentle current that moves through life when the mind, heart, and actions are aligned in harmony. Many seek wealth as an external goal, focusing solely on accumulation, numbers in a bank, or visible possessions, but such pursuits often lead to restlessness, dissatisfaction, and imbalance. True prosperity is first cultivated within. When the mind is clear, free from excessive attachment and distraction, it creates a space where opportunity can naturally enter. The heart, when steady and generous, nurtures intention that is pure, allowing actions to emerge not from fear or greed, but from thoughtful awareness. In this alignment, the energy of abundance resonates with the individual, opening pathways that were previously unseen or blocked by inner turbulence. Harmony does not mean perfection, nor does it demand that every aspect of life is controlled. Rather, it is a state of responsiveness, an attunement to the rhythms and patterns that govern both the visible and invisible worlds. Like a finely tuned instrument, the mind and heart must resonate together to produce clarity and effectiveness. When there is misalignment, even the greatest effort can yield limited results. Actions taken from a place of confusion, anxiety, or impulsivity scatter energy and create obstacles that slow progress. By cultivating inner harmony, each step toward abundance becomes deliberate, intentional, and connected. Wealth then ceases to be a mere number or object, becoming instead an extension of one's balanced state of being. It moves naturally, like water flowing to low ground, finding the channels that are open and receptive. This is why the 3-digit code, in its symbolic essence, is effective not because the digits themselves carry inherent magic, but because they serve as a tool to focus consciousness, reminding one to maintain alignment. When the mind is calm and discerning, it recognizes the moments that matter, the decisions that carry potential, and the choices that sustain balance. When the heart is steady and compassionate, it chooses generosity over hoarding, service over selfishness, and patience over haste. In such harmony, abundance is not forced, it is invited, and it responds to readiness rather than desire. The rhythm of wealth mirrors the rhythm of life itself, moving in cycles, ebbing and flowing according to unseen currents. By respecting these natural movements and aligning oneself internally, One experiences prosperity not as a fleeting reward but as a lasting state inseparable from clarity, integrity, and mindful presence. Thus, the first key to unlocking abundance lies not in numbers or strategy alone, but in cultivating the inner alignment that allows the energy of wealth to flow freely, gently, and without obstruction. In this quiet attunement, the doors of opportunity open, and the currents of life carry abundance naturally toward those who have learned to harmonize mind, heart, and action. The 3-digit code is symbolic, not magical. The numbers represent patterns and energies in life, serving as a guide to align oneself with prosperity. The 3-digit code, though seemingly simple, carries a depth far beyond its numerical form. It is not a talisman, a spell, or a shortcut to instant wealth. Its power lies in symbolism, in the subtle resonance it creates with the patterns of life. Numbers in their essence are reflections of natural order. They mirror cycles, energies, and harmonies that govern both the visible and unseen worlds. When one understands these sequences, they begin to perceive the interplay between intention and outcome, action and consequence, presence and opportunity. The digits themselves act as a focus, a tool for awareness, guiding the mind toward alignment rather than distraction. It is easy to misunderstand this wisdom as a magical formula to be memorized and repeated blindly. Yet the true insight emerges only when it is embraced with consciousness. Just as a tree grows according to the seasons, responding to sunlight, soil, and water, so too does prosperity respond to readiness, clarity, and attentiveness. The code becomes a mirror, reflecting the state of one's inner landscape. When the mind is scattered, anxious, or impatient, even the sequence loses its resonance. It cannot create flow where there is dissonance. But when the individual approaches it with mindfulness, with an open heart and steady purpose, the numbers become a point of attunement, a symbol that bridges intention with action. They remind us that wealth is not merely a possession but an expression of order, balance, and receptivity. By observing the code, one cultivates patience, discernment, and a sensitivity to timing, qualities that are far more valuable than any external accumulation. It teaches the observer to notice subtleties, to recognize which opportunities are aligned and which are not, and to act with clarity rather than impulse. In this sense, the code is a reflection of life's greater rhythms, cycles of giving and receiving, of effort and rest, of preparation and fruition. Those who have studied it over centuries discovered that certain sequences naturally harmonize with these rhythms, not because they manipulate the universe, but because they train the consciousness to recognize resonance. In applying the code, one is reminded that abundance is as much about perception as it is about material gain. The digits themselves are tools for cultivating attentiveness, focus, and a steady alignment between thought, intention, and deed. They encourage a disciplined awareness that allows the flow of wealth to be received gracefully and responsibly. Thus, the 3-digit code is not an end in itself, nor a magical incantation. It is a symbolic guide, a map for those who seek to align with the subtle currents of life. When approached with wisdom, patience, and mindfulness, it becomes a bridge between internal order and external opportunity, a gentle reminder that numbers, like all things, carry power only when understood and integrated with conscious living. Through this lens, the code is less about digits and more about attuning oneself to the natural harmony that underlies all prosperity, showing that true wealth arises not from chance but from understanding and alignment. Masters used observation and awareness. Historical practitioners studied cycles, rhythms, and interconnectedness to discover sequences that harmonize with life's flow. Those who came before us, the seekers of understanding, were keen observers of the world, attentive to the smallest details and the largest patterns alike. They walked quietly through forests, along rivers, and within the walls of serene places, noticing the cycles of nature, the subtle shifts in energy, and the interconnectedness of all things. In their observation, they discovered that life is composed of rhythms, some apparent, others guiding the rise and fall of fortune, opportunity, and abundance. These masters understood that wealth, like the natural world, follows a pattern that can be harmonized with if one cultivates awareness. They did not chase prosperity blindly. Instead, they studied the signs, listening deeply to the currents of life and the signals that often go unnoticed by those caught in haste or desire. Over time, they recognized that certain sequences, certain alignments, carried a resonance that naturally attracted opportunities. These sequences became keys, subtle yet profound, capable of unlocking the flow of abundance when approached with clarity and mindfulness. The 3-digit code, in its symbolic form, was one such discovery, a way to attune consciousness to the invisible currents that govern the unfolding of material and spiritual prosperity. Yet the code is only effective in the presence of observation and awareness. Without attentiveness, the numbers are merely symbols on a page. They hold no power beyond the superficial. The wisdom of the masters was not in memorizing sequences, but in cultivating a state of being that could perceive resonance and alignment. They understood that life moves according to cause and effect, intention and consequence, effort and receptivity. By observing patiently, they learned to act at the right moment, to embrace opportunities that were in harmony with the natural flow and to release those that were not. In this, wealth became not a struggle or a forceful pursuit, but a reflection of attuned living. They taught that the alignment of one's inner world thoughts, intentions, and actions was the essential foundation for attracting abundance. The 3-digit code is a manifestation of this insight, a tool that encourages discernment, mindfulness, and timing. Through it, the observer learns to notice subtle shifts in circumstance, to recognize when the currents of opportunity are favorable, and to move with grace rather than compulsion. In honoring this practice of observation, one begins to understand that prosperity is not a matter of chance, luck, or manipulation. It is the natural outcome of awareness aligned with life's inherent rhythms. The lessons of the masters remind us that attentiveness is the bridge between insight and realization, and that the code's true value lies not in the numbers themselves, but in the conscious, disciplined, and patient observation that allows them to guide the flow of wealth and abundance with wisdom, grace, and understanding. Consciousness amplifies wealth. Mindful intention, clarity, and gratitude enhance the effect of the code, making small efforts yield greater results. Consciousness is the subtle engine through which wealth and abundance are amplified. It is not enough to simply possess knowledge or tools. Without awareness and mindfulness, even the most potent sequences of numbers remain inert, like seeds lying dormant in unfertile soil. Those who seek prosperity must first cultivate a clarity of mind, an attentiveness to the present moment, and a deep understanding of their own intentions. When thought, intention, and action converge, each decision resonates far beyond the immediate, magnifying its effects in ways that are often unseen yet profoundly influential. The 3-digit code in this light is less a method for forcing outcomes and more a symbolic instrument that focuses consciousness. It invites the practitioner to consider the energy they carry into each action, to recognize that even small, deliberate efforts can ripple outward when applied with clarity. Mindfulness transforms ordinary acts into deliberate steps aligned with opportunity. Gratitude, too, is a necessary companion to this awareness. By recognizing what is already present, one cultivates a receptive field. A mind and heart open to receiving abundance informs both expected and unexpected. Without gratitude, effort can become a frantic pursuit, energy scattered by desire and impatience. With it, every action is infused with presence, and every effort, however small, becomes a thread woven into the broader tapestry of prosperity. The magnification of wealth through consciousness is subtle but powerful. It is seen in the way preparation meets opportunity, in the way intuition guides choice, and in the way patience allows the natural rhythms of life to unfold. The code's function is to serve as a reminder, a gentle focus point that brings the mind back to alignment, reminding the practitioner that intention shapes reality. It cultivates sensitivity to timing, encourages disciplined reflection, and fosters a harmonious integration of inner and outer worlds. When consciousness is applied in this way, the smallest acts, careful choices, thoughtful planning, deliberate generosity gain momentum, leading to results far greater than the sum of their parts. The mastery of abundance is therefore inseparable from the cultivation of awareness. One cannot rely solely on external systems, symbols, or strategies. True wealth requires an inward journey, a continuous practice of observing one's thoughts, refining one's intentions, and aligning actions with the broader currents of life. In doing so, the practitioner discovers that prosperity is not merely a material state, but a reflection of inner clarity and alignment. The code, the numbers, and the practices associated with them serve as a bridge, a way to focus consciousness, reminding the individual that awareness is the force that transforms potential into reality. Each digit, each sequence becomes a symbol of mindfulness, a prompt to act with deliberation, and a tool to harmonize inner and outer energies. In this way, consciousness amplifies wealth not through manipulation, but through clarity, alignment, and the steady cultivation of attentive, intentional living, showing that the mind, more than any external method, is the true medium through which abundance flows. Wealth begins within the code is a tool to cultivate discernment, patience, and inner order, showing that true abundance is both material and spiritual. True abundance begins within, for the external world is a reflection of the inner state of being. No amount of effort, strategy, or external accumulation can create lasting prosperity if the mind is restless, the heart unbalanced, or the intentions unclear. The 3-digit code, while symbolic of patterns that guide wealth, ultimately serves as a mirror for one's inner life. It calls attention to the alignment between thought, feeling, and action, showing that prosperity is inseparable from clarity, patience, and discernment. Those who understand this truth approach wealth not as an object of desire, but as an extension of consciousness. The practice begins with self-awareness, a careful observation of one's habits, impulses, and motivations. When the individual cultivates honesty with themselves, they see where distraction, fear, or attachment may cloud judgment. They learn to recognize opportunities that are in harmony with their values and to release those that carry hidden discord. In this way, the inner order becomes the foundation upon which external abundance naturally rests. Patience is essential to this process. Wealth, like life itself, flows according to rhythms and timing that are often subtle and unseen. Impatience leads to rash decisions, misaligned efforts, and missed opportunities. By cultivating a patient awareness, one allows the currents of life to guide action at the appropriate moment. This practice trains the mind to wait with clarity rather than desperation, to act with discernment rather than impulse. Discernment, in turn, enables the practitioner to distinguish between fleeting desire and meaningful opportunity, between superficial gain and lasting prosperity. The three-digit code reinforces this practice, serving as a reminder that each action, each choice, carries weight and influence. When the digits are engaged with mindfulness, they encourage deliberate movement, an awareness that wealth is co-created through conscious alignment rather than forceful pursuit. The inner cultivation of discernment also fosters generosity and ethical engagement. True abundance is not hoarded, it circulates, reflecting the balance of giving and receiving. By aligning inner values with external action, one ensures that prosperity nourishes both self and the greater environment, creating harmony that perpetuates opportunity and well-being. Ultimately, the code's significance lies not in the numbers themselves, but in the transformation they inspire within the practitioner. By integrating mindfulness, patience, and discernment, one aligns with the natural flow of life, allowing abundance to manifest as a reflection of inner clarity and order. Wealth becomes not merely a goal, but a byproduct of conscious living, a natural outcome of alignment between intention, action, and awareness. Through this understanding, the seeker realizes that true prosperity is inseparable from personal growth, inner balance, and the cultivation of wisdom. The three-digit code serves as a tool, a symbol, and a guide, pointing toward the deeper truth that abundance begins not in the external world, but within the mind and heart of those who walk with attentiveness, integrity, and understanding. In embracing this principle, one carries not only wealth but harmony, clarity, and the enduring rhythm of life's natural flow.